Greetings. Welcome everyone to the Psychic Tarot Show, coming to you live every Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. We have people from all over the world. Hello, Tarot by Lupo. Yvonne, welcome. Today we're looking at the forecast for this first week of March, beginning with obviously today and going till next Saturday, March the 7th. Let's see what this beginning of the new month is bringing in. What's coming in with that March energy? Before we get started, as always, I'm going to remind you to please like, share, and subscribe here on the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. You can also follow us over here on the Beyond Mystic Rumble channel and X channels, and you can book a session with me, Psychic Tarot Card Reading with Ashala, 1 hour session. These are recorded. I have a few spaces for bookings this week, and then there won't be any spaces after that for another couple of weeks, because of course I'm going to be at the conference. So if you want to get a session with me before the conference, after that, I'm not going to be taking bookings till like the third week in March. So jump on and use the coupon code below to get your 10% discount. Hello, Frederick, Suzanne, the Grounded Hippie, Cass. Welcome to so many of you joining me here on a Saturday. What is it like where you are? Is it dreary? Is it bright? Arizona? I know we're looking at California, the UK. Happy March Madness. Right on, Suzanne. Yep, it feels like it, doesn't it? It was interesting as I was tuning in and meditating just briefly before I came on. I was seeing purple. I've seen the color purple, and the color purple to me is really the crown chakra. It is an incredible protective color, and it's also a very spiritual color. I mean, if we think about purple was worn by royalty exclusively back in the Middle Ages because it was so hard to access purple dye, and therefore because it was so difficult to access and expensive to purchase, it was held exclusively for royalty. There's just something in this royal purple energy, and I'm being called to speak about it, which makes me focus on our highest spiritual evolution at this time. So the crown chakra, where we are literally connecting to source. So it's our source connection. So the Grounded Hippie is saying sunny with a slight breeze and a perfect 26 degrees Celsius. Hello, Kathleen from Phoenix. And sunny in Pennsylvania. And hello, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Here on the west coast of British Columbia, Canada, we've got another kind of mixed bag day and week ahead with clouds and sun, some rain, but not as much of the extreme storms as we've had. And fingers crossed, we haven't had any more earth shakes since that last big wake up activation. Hi, Natalie. Snowy in Montreal. Hi from Wisconsin, the Netherlands. Hi, Corinne. Lovely to see you all. So let's have a look at what this week is bringing to the mix. Just like when we're tuning in with astrology, it doesn't mean that this is the only thing that can happen, but it is a bit like a weather forecast, what we look at with the tarot. It is like these are some of the influences that are in the air collectively. So here we go. Starting off, oh yes, I'm going to make that screen bigger. There we go. Starting off with this very creative Queen of Wands in the house of the self, the house of Aries, the personality, the ego. Well, she's larger than life. She is very extroverted. She's often associated with the sign of Leo. You'll notice the lions up there on the throne. You can see them right here, these little red lions. She's associated with Leo. Courage, optimism, extroversion. So even for you introverts, this week could have you feeling like you're willing to be a bit loud and proud. And this is also related to creativity. It is where we tune back in. I'm hearing music is highlighted this week. Any sort of arts, any sort of frequency around creativity. You know, sometimes when we feel like we've got a lot on our plate and there's a lot of business and serious responsibilities that we have, it feels like an indulgence to step outside of that and add some creativity into the mix or some music. And what I'm being shown is that applied at the right moment, that energy actually boosts your productivity. So there's something about getting a creative, energetic boost this week, which of course feels good. And you may feel a bit more confident than usual. Yeah. Susan's saying purple is the royal Phoenician color made from a rare seashell. It's a sacred color. Yeah. It's not found in nature very often. So, you know, and I'm even hearing that analogy where it used to be that story of, you know, when I'm an old lady, I'm going to wear purple. And it's still, there is something still very interesting about the color purple when we wear it. It still seems like it's a little bit extravagant. So we're off to a bit of an extravagant beginning to our wheel. Let's see how we're feeling with material things, with security. Okay. So the securities and the material realm, we're still going through the dark night of the soul. But we're also feeling very soulful. So again, I get that purple ray, that energy of spirituality. You know, it's sort of like we've gone a little bit beyond the material focus into the spiritual focus. What does it feel like when we're focused on money and material things through the lens of spirituality? Something to contemplate. Yeah. So let's go on to Gemini. Well. This is a very happy sign in the house of Gemini. You've heard me mention before that there are certain cards in certain houses that are very exalted, like when Meg talks about this planet in this house or whatever is exalted, it means it's really happy to be there. The King of Swords in Gemini, he's happy to be there. Gemini's happy to have him there. So he's a planner, he's a thinker. He might be a bit idealistic. He's very scientific. He's a researcher. So all of those things are highlighted this week. But look at, we're coming in with this very sort of, I want to say, courageous, confident, extroverted energy. We're coming in with a very strong spiritual ground around what is real, the spiritual value of things. And then we have this planner, this visionary in the house of planning and vision. So far, pretty good. In the house of home, another activating energy, another creative energy, right? So we know that there's 4 suits in the tarot. There are swords and wands and cups and pentacles, meaning the thoughts and ideas, the energy or creation or spirit, and the emotional realm with cups, and then the material or physical substance of life with the pentacles. There are also 4 court characters in each of those 4 suits or elements. And here we have 2 of the court characters from the suit of wands. So the suit of spirit, creativity, energy, activation, motivation, courage, enthusiasm. We've got 2 out of the 4 so far in that suit right here. And they're in the cardinal points, by the way, as well. Aries and Cancer. So a boost. The March energy so far is bringing us a boost. We're not out of the woods, but there's a real boost of encouraging, I want to say, spirit, creativity, and some confidence. And, this is often where people are like, yeah, well, I don't feel that way right now, or I didn't feel that way last week. This is what is exciting about this. We sometimes see the stuff that's a little bit scary that we're going to have to sort of buckle up and hold on to our hats. And then sometimes we see, get ready to I'm being shown like something kind of where you have to be a little bit courageous, whatever that looks for. For each of us, we have our different thresholds, right? But I'm being shown tobogganing here in Canada. That's a super fun thing that is, we get outside, we sit on one of those sleds or whatever, and you kind of go for it, and down the hill you slide. So there's a feeling of getting out of your home, because this is home. This is the house of Cancer, which is our protection, right? It's our sanctuary. It's where we shell up inside and wait out the storm. Well, we're definitely stepping outside this week. There is the courage to, at the very least, open the shutters, and do something that gets your heart racing a little bit. Would be good for you. Okay, and then in the house of Leo, oh, wow. Okay, so interesting. We've got all this courage, but there might be some lingering stories about, this is the house of courage. This is the house of spirit and creativity, and there's disappointment here. This is a little bit of a pity party card, 5 of Cups. And I'm going to see what's on the other side of it, because that will determine how I'm going to interpret that for all of us, and how we're going to use this energy maybe to kick that out of there. Right now, I get a feeling it's almost like the dregs of sort of maybe old stories of things where we were courageous and we spoke out or stepped out, or felt a bit confident, and then we got sort of plunked on the head, and we may be fearful of that. So let's see oh yeah, wow, let's see what's on the other side of this. This is a little bit of a carryover from last week, where we had all that I think he was even in this position last week. I'm not sure. Maybe some of you remember our Knight of Cups in the house of Virgo. But it was a lot about, really bringing this healing salve, this healing balm to our lives, and care. A little bit of extra care and attention, especially with our own health. So yeah, you might have to kind of talk yourself out of some old patterns of self-pity this week. With that Leo, where your pride got wounded, or your courage got discouraged in the past, you might have to sort of talk yourself out of that. And part of what you can use as that incentive is to say, well, regardless of what the feedback is, you're doing whatever it is, you're stepping out in this courageous new way, because it feels like the right thing to do. So there's even a little bit of Good Samaritan energy with this. It's the right thing to do, and it feels good. It's that feels good to be generous, feels good to be confident, especially if you don't have a big expectation of what you're going to get as a response or a reflection of that. So far, this is quite a nice flowing kind of week unfolding here. Let's see what goes on in our relationship dynamic. Okay, so last week we had our Empress, the mother energy. This week we have our Emperor. So last week there was this real energy around caring for our mother figures, around honoring the energy of mothering, which has to do with everything, right? It has to do with nurturing and caretaking and looking after ourselves, looking after others. This week, it's like we've got the other side of that coin. We've got the father energy, and he's showing up in the house of relationships. So yeah, it's almost like there could be some healing work around relationships with our father figures. Or and if you are a father, it could be well with your father figure and also with your role as a father. So, oh, Joanna's saying Rumble feed is not working. Darn. Sorry, I can't really do much troubleshooting from here around that, Joanne, but thanks for letting us know. I will I'll put in a request to the higher powers there and see if we can get some troubleshooting on that. Maybe even just pop a line over to Beyond Mystic and let them know. Yes, also getting some feedback about what the weather is like. Cloudy, foggy. Oh, some reason Rumble is not showing me. Yeah. Oh, I see it all over the place. Sorry, folks. Gosh. So Joanna's saying, okay, watching on X and YouTube is working. So my apologies, everybody. We'll see if we can get that sorted out. We're not even in Mercury retrograde yet, and things are already going a little March retrograde, right? Wanda E is saying sunny blue skies with chemtrails in Southwest Saskatchewan. I mean, I have to say that I'm certainly encouraged by seeing how much more there is in regular mainstream dialogue about weather modification and chemtrails. And so, just it takes some time. It takes some time for this stuff to roll around enough that people start to really pay attention and have enough of that. It's kind of the critical mass point, right? And if you look across at all the different areas, it's interesting, right? This feels to me like having compassion for a lot of the men on the front line that are trying to make these big system changes. We know the team, it's our team, right? Our team of change makers. And it's not an easy position for them to be in. There's a lot of, I want to say, sort of jockeying for power positions globally, politically, socially, and it's really hard to act ethically, but also to take your chance and make your move when strike while the iron's hot. And I just really feel a lot of men in positions of power or authority or responsibility that are having to make some really challenging choices around which level of ethical responsibility are you going to defer to. And it feels like we want to give the men and the masculine energy a real boost of encouragement, of gratitude, bolstering the confidence that, it's okay to make some mistakes. And I'm really getting this around what we're seeing happening, in the big political policy making maneuvers going on globally right now. There's an energy of it doesn't matter which way these change makers step, they're going to step on somebody or something. They're going to it's so convoluted and complex at this point that you're going to be peeving off somebody no matter which way you turn. And so I really feel this energy of, on some level, the masculine needing to be, yeah, we're holding them accountable, but we're also holding them, in terms of what is the greatest sort of incentive? Where are they heading with this? Um, they might not always make the right move or the move that we hope they're going to make or in the right time that we hope they're going to make it. But it's a very intricate dance is what I'm hearing. And there does feel like a lot of good energy going to having compassion for that. Yeah. So curious to see what you're all feeling about that. Right? Okay. Yeah, we are. It's almost like when we're in a kind of battle scenario. So we got a little bit of a battle here, especially across from the moon, a battle with the material resources. So there's a lot of, again, push and pull, tug of war going on with the financial systems, with some of again, the political maneuvers that are happening. And I'm just hearing this energy of people are getting caught in the crossfire. And yet we can't sort of stop at this point. We have to keep going. We can't, go, oh, actually, we don't want to keep going in that direction. We're just going to abandon everything. It's like we've got this momentum going and we need to keep going. But it isn't perfect. It isn't ideal. And we don't want to settle for, some of the solutions that are being presented politically. We don't want to settle for them long term. But yeah, it's kind of like I'm seeing this battle still being played out. It's well and truly more than 3/4 of the way complete. It's interesting because I know that Janine and myself for the last 2 or 3 years have been getting like, oh, it's almost complete. I feel like it's almost like the layers of the onion, and the closer we get to the full, yeah, the whole thing, we're there's political battles happening in some of the deeper layers now, is what I'm getting. So hopefully that makes sense to all of you. Let's keep going. Oh, oh, so beautiful. Okay, Sagittarius. Sagittarius are the revolutionary ones. They are the warriors, right? The house of Sagittarius is the house where the Sagittarians have the bow, and they are the defenders of truth, the truth speakers. It's very interesting because this is a beautiful, I want to say, coalescing or bonding or co-creation. So there could be a lot of weaves in our warrior team this week, and some of them are even on a romantic level. So, every few weeks there's a little blip of this could be the week. So if you've been waiting to put your message out there, to put your profile up, or to, this could be a good week to make connections in our truth community, to find not only an ally and someone that you can work on a team with, but possibly even an, romantic or intimate relationship connection. So yeah, love is in the air. And sometimes it's at that final moment where you're just about to give up that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So I don't know, that just makes me feel really happy. That makes me feel really happy. And go that little extra mile this week, obviously without worrying too much or being too attached to the outcome. I've been doing these weekly forecasts for several years now, and it's quite sweet because you will see certain themes will come up every few weeks. It'll be like, oh, this is another good week for love. So don't worry, if it doesn't happen this week, there's another train, there's another bus coming. But this is just a good week. So if you're feeling like yeah, you might have the courage, the confidence to reach out to someone. Um, yeah, so you might be in line to make a very meaningful connection. At the very least, a friendship, a like-minded ally. Very great. Okay. So, inform someone today. I'm going to, oh yeah, I'm going to bring your comment up, Suzanne, actually. Inform someone today about two mega celebrities doing the nasty to children, and on it, the Epstein list reply was, I'm too busy with my own life. I can't care less what others do with theirs. Yeah, interesting. I'm really getting this invitation to it. One of the things that's really great when you present something to someone is to present them the step that they can take easily to respond and do something about it. So I'm literally being shown, like, where you say, here's the petition, here's the this, it'll only take you 2 minutes. Do your part, right? So that kind of response where you immediately engage the person in some sort of solution so they don't feel, because what I'm hearing in their response is actually they're too busy to take in more information that they don't know what to do anything about. So giving them some way to get involved, and that, yeah, it's a click away that they can sign a petition or join a group or whatever. And if they can have their voice heard, that feels like it's going to be really helpful. There's some great, I feel like there's some great weaves this week around working together with other truthers, and we could really get some great shared solution oriented stuff going viral, almost, is what I'm being shown, that has solutions embedded, and you send that out and people just have to click and join. We could see something going viral even in the next 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm hearing you, Suzanne. They're feeling like they're completely shut down. They don't want to hear it. Their brain gets scrambled. Absolutely, absolutely. Hear that, and just have a check of if there is something where you can send and it's an immediate action to be taken, and see if that goes over a little bit better. Okay, and then we get up to dun, da, 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 the highest level of our wheel of the week. 4 pentacles in the house of Capricorn, in the house of the self-actualization, development, and so on. Well, we're maybe not feel. It was very interesting. I just had a client before I came onto the live, and we kind of together came up with this phrase of non-committal. So we were getting a lot of feedback where people are feeling, everybody's feeling a bit locked down in terms of holding on to their money, but also energetically locked down, right? They're non-committal, which kind of goes into what we were talking about with people not wanting to hear things. And I am getting that this isn't forever, that it is a bit of a holding pattern, but I don't really feel, the way the energy is laying out here, that we're going to get stuck here for super long. There is something about everybody getting stabilized on this new level. We're on a new level, right? Definitely since the election, we're on a new level, and everyone's kind of getting their footing. There's still a lot going on the global stage, and yeah, it is pretty destabilizing. So for all of us, maybe this isn't your launch your whole new program, all your offerings being received, and getting a lot of remuneration financially for everything. This might be more of a like just sort of stabilize and hold that stable base. It's sort of like really focusing on building a strong launch pad is what I'm hearing. Building stability within the system that you've already been working in. So maybe not a time to take huge risks, but look at this. We're not necessarily taking really big financial risks, but we're definitely risking ourselves to step out in a very sort of confident way, and maybe even a bit of a playful, creative way. And I notice sometimes that we tend to go about things backwards. We try to work from the outside in instead of from the inside out. We want like, okay, I hear people say, oh, I'll get on that healthy diet, lose some weight, get more physical active stuff when my business takes off. And it's like, well, okay. However, we may be in this position right now where we're all needing to stabilize a basic foundational energy and then activate in the areas where we have a little wiggle room, right? Where we can it doesn't cost too much to do certain creative activities that really, up level our frequency. So you may be experiencing frustration that there's a cap on your ability to grow. This is also with our investments, right? It's with our crypto and our silver and gold. It's like, why, it's still sort of locked into a certain level. And there can be that energy of like frustration. I want it now, because when I have it, I will get motivated. And they're saying, actually, we can be stabilized and activated. Yeah, I'm hearing the difference between motivated and activated. So, and I think knowing that you're not the only one feeling this way could help with this. I'm hoping. Let me know if that's landing for you. Just lovely to see so many people here. All right. And I'd love to hear from some of you that don't normally come into the chat. I'm going to just encourage you to like jump on over and say something. This is that energy, right? That Queen of Wands and Page of Wands. It would be just a lovely little feeling to see and sense your presence if you haven't jumped on before, or you don't do it very frequently. So come on over and we will welcome you, because that's part of that activation. It's part of that energizing, bringing energy to the system. Okay, so here we are, the Chariot in the house of Aquarius. Aquarius, our friends, our reputation. Murdoch, hello, Anne. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Frederick. Yeah. So the Chariot in the house of Aquarius. What's across from it? 5 of Cups in Leo. Yeah. So I'm going to see what's on the other side of it because I'm curious. Hi, Pat. I'm curious about Interesting. You know, the Chariot it's a bit another one of those kind of locked in, right? This guy's got armor on. He's on a mission. He's busy. A little bit like what Suzanne was saying earlier. People are too busy, right? Everybody's kind of on the move. There's a kind of a hustle energy going on, and we're all busy and like locked in and kind of armored up and in our lane doing what we always do. And yet we've got this beautiful energy of the Ace of Cups beside that in the house of Pisces. So our deeper subconscious is opening like a flower. You know, it's almost like there's a bit of an outer shell is what I'm getting. There's a little bit of a shell of protection, sort of like that veneer energy that is mostly motivated from the last 5 years, by the way, right? Look at that, 5 of Cups, 5 years of despair, of, grief. And we're still a bit, I want to say, we've got our protective armor on. Doesn't mean you throw that away, but look at this. Here's a great way of looking at it. This guy's got his armor on, but he's still got the cup of generosity and care in his hand going forward. So can you be kind and caring while still having your armor on? According to this, we can. So, yeah, you may still be protected, but it feels important to, kind of wear your heart on your sleeve a little bit. You can keep your armor on, but wear your heart on your sleeve. Interesting way of looking at things. Okay, we're coming into the close of this here, and then I might take a couple of questions because we're ending fast today. Oh, love it. Love it. Strength in the center. Strength in the center. How many majors do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So, not a huge number of major arcana cards, 4 out of 13. But really interesting. I always like to look at which ones. The Moon, the Emperor, the Chariot, and Strength. So again, going through something, a gateway, and with our armor on, and the Emperor is also wearing armor. Do you notice that? You see, he's got the armor. Do you see his shoes? He's known for being kind of armored up. So we need to continue to keep our armor on, and we've still got more to go through. But even while we're doing that, there's already this really beautiful energy of renewal. Because look at this, we've got, Queen of Wands, the Strength Maiden, the little Page of Wands down here, Knight of Cups, right? 2 of Cups, Ace of Cups. Wow. Right? It's like all of that, which is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. And then all of this. Kind of like 6 of one, half dozen of the other, right? It's like a little bit more kind of hold your cards close energy. So we got a mixed bag, almost half and half. Maybe a little bit more hold your cards close. I mean, the Chariot could go either way. It could go like, go for a ride, take a little trip, take a little adventure, and all these things open up. So take a little risk. Step out of your comfort zone just a wee bit this week. Okay. Aw, Nancy, blessings from Wyoming. Your words bring Such truth and hope to me. Thank you, dear Ashala. Love it. Thank you, Nancy. Joanne, so lovely to see you. All right, let us have a look. Is there anything, sort of burning question that anyone wants to look at before we sign off for the week? This is your opportunity. Jump in there. Hi, Zaina. Going on a trip to Belgium on Thursday. Beautiful. Any signification to all the blue in the cards? Well, interesting. We're going to come back to the purple that we were talking about earlier. It's interesting that there isn't really a lot of purple in the tarot. I mean, I guess there's a little bit, you could call that purple up in there, and the 10 of Pentacles. Not a lot of cards with purple in them. But generally, I mean, when I think of the color blue, I think of, the blue sky and the blue ocean, a real sense of clearing, clarity, cleansing, right? It's a very cooling color as well, like calming to the nervous system. It's also blue is the color associated with the throat chakra in the 7-color chakra system. And the throat is where we communicate. It's where we speak our truth, where we have the confidence to speak out. So yeah, the confidence to speak out. Whoop, you notice those cards just jumped out a little bit. The confidence to speak out. Yeah, it's almost like I'm taking a little risk of speaking out. You don't have to completely put your foot in your mouth, but you can say something, that Sag energy that we had, right? We had that really positive line between Gemini and Sag, where we say that thing that lands in just the right way this week. You could really land some of your beliefs in a good way. All right. Yeah. Why are some of us having sleep problems at the moment? Is it the new moon in Pisces affecting us? That is a very good question. I am really happy to look at that with all of you, with all of your eyes on it and your souls and your spirit guides in attendance, because I've been a little surprised about that, honestly. It's like, wow. Oh yeah, I'm just noticing here a poet and his posy, watch the water and the sky with all that blue, right? So let's look at our sleep. Getting this one right in the middle. Oh my gosh. I'm a little bit shocked, okay, because I was literally going down this little, when I tune in and start receiving messages, it's sort of like they pull me into a little thought train. It almost feels like a little rabbit hole or a little tunnel. And so the first thought I got was like I was getting all this like warm, sort of fuzzy flannel pajamas, and I was like, oh, that feels so like, it was just sort of reminding me of how we used to have those cozy pajamas when I was a kid. And I don't know, you don't see that as much anymore. Everything's acrylic and synthetic. We used to have those nice flannel cotton pajamas as a kid. And then I was like, oh, it's just like going back to a simple time when, you got into bed and you had your flannel pajamas on and you felt so cozy and safe. Even if you weren't, you felt like you were. And I was being drawn into that. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of like reminds me of when I was 9. And then I went, oh, that's funny. 9, that's the Hermit. And then I turned the card over and there was the Hermit. So I think we're onto something. And interesting, what happens when we're 9 is we go through a bit of a personal crisis. It's a known phenomena. In anthroposophy, they call it the 9-year change. And it's where we kind of go through a little bit of an existential crisis and we feel like we don't want to grow up. We don't want to have to do all the things that we're going to have to do. We want to stay where we are and be safe. And so I think there's something going on where we're not grown up enough yet. We're not evolved enough to feel safe in a new system, but we can't go back. And we're going through that kind of 9-year-old crisis. And they're just saying, what helps 9-year-olds feel safe is the cozy pajamas and a nice bedtime story. And I'm not just talking about like a happy story. I'm talking about like the kind of stories that have a moral and there's a journey and there's some challenge, but what's the word I'm looking for? Not like a mythology, but not a fairy tale. But anyway, like a story where the character grows and there's a resolution in the end. It's like, it feels like we need some inspired stories. We need some cozy pajamas is what I'm being shown. And maybe not burning so much of that blue nightlight screen time, like maybe having some darkness as well. And we always needed that, but we're really critically in this point where we're going to be super hypersensitive is what I'm getting. We're very sensitive. There's different things that are affecting us, and it's a bit of a perfect storm. So, but it will ease up in the next 6 weeks. We've got maybe another 3 weeks of it being not so great. So during that time, really work with that energy that I was describing about, can you listen to stories before going to bed? Have an audio book or something like that, as opposed to sort of ingesting media or, challenging podcasts or whatever, or watching things right on a screen, and go into a bit more darkness, at least for 30 minutes before you go to sleep. And just know that there's different contributing factors, but you're going to see improvement. It might even be within the next, 6 or 8 days, but it could linger. We could go through bouts of this over the next 6 weeks, but I'm feeling like because we're all sort of having it, Jim's saying an allegory. Yeah, maybe that's it. It's like a story where there is a feeling of resolution and a mythological journey, that the hero's journey or something like that. There's something comforting. We're needing a certain kind of comfort that isn't escapism and isn't light entertainment. It's deep, but it's soulful, and we're back to the purple. So, meditate on dark blue, indigo, and purple. Maybe even have stones of those colors around you in your sleeping area for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Hopefully that's going to be helpful. Wow, this has been so lovely. And I just realized I forgot to do my mid promo little section here. So let me take a moment. I'm going to bring your attention over here. Well, of course, there you can find me, Beyond Mystic. My readings, you can book a session with me. As I said before, I'm taking bookings this coming week. I have a few spots left, and then there's not going to be any for like 2.5 weeks after that. So there we go. And I want to bring your attention over to this, which is the Shamanic Breathwork Part 1 with Sylvia. Sylvia and I did a great chat. We did the As Above, So Below show together. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, go check that out. We had a great conversation, and we were discussing her shamanic breath work offering. It's really affordable, and yeah, this is interesting. I'm noticing all that purple in the background around her. And one of the things that I notice when I'm doing breath work is my crown chakra gets activated. So there is something about activating our crown this week. And breath work, this workshop, you can get, you can jump on. I think actually I think it was just happening now, but you can watch the replay. And it feels like it's very much in alignment with the energies of this week. It's fascinating how that happens. And then also there's a part 2 where Sylvia is going to be taking you further, deeper into a breathwork journey. And I think that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be a beautiful follow-up to this practice. And she is just phenomenal, so talented, so knowledgeable, a real expert in this area. So we're honored to have her on our team. And it's been lovely sharing with all of you. As always, of course, please remember to like, share, and subscribe over here on the YouTube channel, which is, I guess, where most of you have been watching me today, Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. And hopefully everything's going to be fixed on Rumble soon, and you can find us here on Rumble and X channel. I look forward to seeing you again here with Meg on Tuesday at the As Above, So Below show, and then again next Saturday. Have a beautiful week, everybody. Blessings to you all. Bye for now.